What is up, my fellow champions of the realm? It's your boy Apache here, and today we're going to be going over the Term Advanced Guide. If you guys can remember, when we did the basic guide, we basically just talked about the numbers, the abilities, and what they do for Term. In the intermediate guide, we kind of gave you a live example. I talked in game while I was doing things. I tried to explain why and give you a kind of feel of like, you know, a little more advanced things compared to basics. And now we're actually going to be getting into the advanced guide, in which I'm going to actually review a game that I played in ranked, right? And we're going to go into depth. We're going to be talking about things like we're basically going to talk about things that we should be doing, and we're going to be like really picky, right? I want you guys to see basically with somebody who I've dumped many hours into term. I want you guys to be able to see what I think you should be doing, right? Do's and don'ts, basically, as well as just like the little things, right? The little things that make a difference between a good term and a great term, right? So, with that all being said, we're going to start talking about the little checklist we have here. So basically, these are 5 things that I want to be looking for in this game. I want to be doing these things, right? And I want to be doing them as much as I can. Obviously, number 1 is going to be resource management. This is not only going to be siphon, but it's also going to be your health. You got to treat your health like a resource bar, right? Because when you're using siphon and when it's not down, obviously you're taking you're taking damage to your health points, right? So you can kind of use that as a way of like, okay, like I'm halfway done with my siphon. I can afford to take a little bit of health damage. It'll give my healers some charge for their ult, and then I can put my siphon back up and things like that, right? Um, my ultimate, how am I using it? My ults this game, and I mean almost in every game, should be a way of either getting a lot of picks if the enemy team messes up, right? Forcing them to use a lot of resources, right? And then just reviving. Or if I die and my team's still alive, I can just pop myself up. It'll just be like a second life, right? Other than that, rotations. Am I on the point too long? Am I off the point too long? Things like that, right? How am I flowing with the game? With how things are going. Number 4 is going to be peeling and enable. How am I peeling for my teammates / how am I enabling them? So not only how am I saving my teams, but how am I creating opportunities for them to do things and also just get more value out of their champion. And then the last thing is going to be the objective, right? At the end of the day, the game is played around the objective. Am I doing my job? Am I setting my team up to capture the objective? And things like that. With that being said, we're going to be going over some things to keep in mind during this game. We are playing on the map Warder's Gate. In my opinion, this is not the best map for term, especially on the mids. I feel like on pushes and defenses, it's okay because it's not as many angles you can take. But definitely in the mids, it's gonna hurt because it's a very easy map that you can get into cracks and you can just take a lot of angles on the mid, things like that, right? Matchup wise, we're playing against an Inara. I'm only really worrying about her because she's my point matchup. In my opinion, Term just destroys Inara. He just outputs more damage than she does, as well as I feel like it's a lot easier to predict her damage than most tanks, so I can just siphon up and block damage if I really need to. The champion I'm playing obviously is Term. My role for this game, I'm going to be our main source of point contest, as well as I'm going to be an enabler. If you guys don't know what that means, basically just I'm creating space as well as creating opportunities with my kit, with my champion for my teammates to get things done. My buys this game, my buys were a little weird, but these are the buys I should normally look for. Nimble, Resil, right? So Nimble because Term's a really slow champion and you want to be able to keep up with your team, as well as you want to be able to chase down targets with your axe, as well as it's really good for rotations and regrouping. Resil because they have an Inara stun, they're going to have a down buff here, right? And every time I'm CC'd, I'm not going to be able to use my kit. I won't be able to keep myself alive, and I'll be in danger. Avid is going to help against almost everybody, actually everybody on their team, just to make me a little more tanky and things like that. And then a filler card, basically whatever I feel like I need in that situation. Like I said, my buys were a little weird this game. I actually think I started caught Bulldozer, and I think the reason behind that was because I felt like I could get an early advantage on the Inara if I bullied her hard enough. But I ended up regretting that because I just felt way too slow, and I felt like there was just too many times where I'm getting caught out because I'm not able to rotate as fast. Keep in mind, your siphon does slow you down, and that nimble buy will actually counteract that slow in a way. So if you're not buying nimble, it's really hard to play aggressive because not only can you not go in as fast, but it's going to be really hard to back up when you have your siphon up. Alrighty, so with that being said, let's get into the game here. I'm actually going to speed it up a bit because I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to see. I want to wait till we get all the way towards the end. Oh, so boom, we're here. We're gonna look at my build real quick and we'll look at what I bought. Obviously, you can't see what I bought, but I can tell you I definitely went Caw and Bulldozer. For my loadout, you can't see, but it's pretty standard. I'm gonna have Abomination 5, Necromantic Might 5. I'm going to have it watches 1. The Leap card increases the distance 1, I believe. And Self-Sustain, which is when you hit your when you hit Calamity Blast, right? I'm gonna have that on 2, I believe. So rolling out here. I typically don't like seeing Term go straight to point unless you know the enemy main tank will go there. And even if they do, I kind of like sending Term into the off lane and to do crazy things. But this first mid, I kind of wanted to feel them out, see where they went, right? And play according to how, you know, and I adjust my game, my play style. So I do go mid right away. I see that they're going right, so I should be looking for dismounts here. As a point tank, you really need to keep in mind that dismounts are very important for you. If you're able to slow down the enemy team, and, you know, especially when they want to make a big rotation like this, you're going to get a lot of value. So I did make sure I sold the off lane there, and I'm just chilling on point. So at this point here, I noticed that the mid, obviously I'm in mid, and I'm not really completely with my team, and that the enemy team is putting a lot of focus into me. I don't have to sit on point there. I want to get off, and I kind of want to just reset. I don't want to give them the opportunity to kill me for free, right? I want them to chase me. I want them to earn the kill that they're looking for. And as you can see, that enemy team puts so much focus on me, right, that my team is enabled to do things in their backline. So we do get a dive on their support while they get a dive on our support. But the only difference is that our supports ends up living. So we do kill the Inara, and I do think we might actually kill the Damba in a bit. Actually, we don't. So right here, I'm just looking for ways to throw right clicks. But I felt like it wasn't worth it, so I didn't. So, technically I could get on point here, right? But I wanted to see if I could get my Ruckus out. So, give him Siphon. But Makoa ends up killing him with a Shell Spin. So, yeah, unfortunate. So, we are down 1. And right now, I kind of want to just make sure I'm getting trays. Forcing out the Damba here. Alright, just swinging away. Right now, I gotta make sure I'm not taking enough damage, especially since my healer's not back yet. So right here, my only problem with what I'm doing right now is I am putting my my side to the enemies, right? So not only is Kolo coming back here, and he's probably gonna pull me, but I am taking a little bit of unnecessary damage when I could be probably holding the angle more this way and blocking both these angles. So here comes the pool. So right here, I instantly react and jump back out. So there, I should have been siphoning my Ruckus a little bit, but he does get ulted anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's an opportunity I could have used to enable my team a little bit. So right here, just body blocking and then making sure my shot's able to get shots off. My main focus right now is keeping my Shaolin alive. Don't really care about the point, as long as they don't kill my Sha. Sha ult, so I no longer have to kind of peel for him, because I know he'll be okay. He does actually int into the enemy backline. So I just gotta make sure that I'm paying a little bit more attention. In this scenario here, I could look straight down and give him my Siphon, and I think I might do it, but I think I do it a little too late. No, it wasn't now. Right there, I actually could have saved my Shaolin, or at least enabled him to get at least 2 more shots into the Koa, and that could have set up a kill for us there. So at that point there, they ended up just playing the mid better than us, and they capture the objective. So if it's anything that I could have said about that mid, I probably would have just had myself play a little bit more on the point, as well as just being more aware of my teammates. Obviously, with me having scrim experience, I kind of know how to defend this area, but my teammates, obviously, I'm not in VC, as well as who knows if they'll listen to me, they're going to play it their own way. So they actually are kind of holding it a little wrong, and it makes me have to play a little weird here. But as you can see in the bottom right, you do see my bias. I totally forgot about that, and I have 1 point and everything. You can see that after I made those bad buys in the beginning, I am actually going to rush my Nimble, because I really need to get that online. So right here, we're looking to just gain some charges, absorb some damage. Nara is killable, so I want to try to get my teammate through there, so if I can break the wall before it actually runs out of the CD. We do get a trade for our Ruckus dying there. Right here, I realized that I gotta stay alive. That's my main priority. Try to get the pick there, but it gets body blocked. We get 2 picks, so now we're just gonna walk with our team here. So we're not gonna chase too far here. I'm pretty sure you can't hear the VGS, but I am going to tell them to back up here with the VGS. It's because we really don't need to push anything. We have the Ruckus, so we're gonna get pretty free dives into their back line, as well as like they don't really have the best close quarters combat, since we do have so much burst, right? So we want to just poke them on their way in, and then once they take damage, look for dives. Right here, I want to contest, but I don't want to take damage from the wards. I'm just chilling, not really doing too much. As you can see, I'm not committing on the Inara here because I want to be able to see my teammates, as well as look for opportunities to enable them. So, don't need to protect anybody. So, look at the Damba. Get it on point here. Ruckus gets pushed out, so right here I'm just playing around my Ruckus, trying to make sure that I keep him alive. Get an opportunity to go in, so I do. And there's a pick. Once again, I'm not going to push up here because there's no real reason for me to go up there. It's just going to create opportunities for them to get free damage on me, as well as once we play, like, actually a little bit. I actually have to do this real quick so I can actually go up and down. If I do push up here, right, and let's say I play mid, or even if I'm over here, if I'm playing right here, now I have an angle from here to watch, I have an angle from here, as well as they're getting control here. So I kind of want to just play in an area where the angles are very minimal. Right, so I'm here, and there's only like an angle from the front, and most times, as well as over there, but my team should have that. And if anybody goes here, in our reality, I can just back up this way, and now I can make this angle one angle. So as you can see, they're looking to retake right. So I don't fully rotate right, but I do shift over to mid. I want to make sure that my Buck doesn't take too much damage here. My main priority is keeping him alive. He wants to peek a little bit, so I'm going to throw up Siphon whenever he peeks, just to give him a little more freedom. Ours going back to point here, and I want to contest. Honestly, I probably should have backed up to mid. Let's see, do I have any backup? No, my hold. Oh no, and I do. But we are playing pretty split here, right? So I probably should have backed up to mid. And we should have let them get a little bit of cart push and just killed them as the cart came through the middle here. So right here, I am buying us time. But what happens here is, since we are playing a little spread, the flanks look for a dive onto our Shaolin. And then I'm kind of isolated here. So me not backing up there gets me killed. So now, they should honestly just snowball here in the sense of finishing kills. But the Ruckus gets out. As I'm dead, I'm watching what's going on with my team, and my brain instantly goes to, if I don't get on top of my Ruckus the second I come out here, he might die here, right? I'm not really worried about my life in a sense, because I'll be okay, but Ruckus is more vulnerable, especially when he doesn't have CDs. So my main goal here is going to be come out and directly get onto my Ruckus. He doesn't look like he has many dashes, as well as he just popped his emitter. So right now, I'm not worried about the point. I'm worried about making sure my Ruckus does not die here. If here is both, which is very unfortunate. Luckily, I don't get hooked. Ruckus ults to keep himself from getting stunned and do damage, which is also kind of appealing for me. And then I, re-peel for him with my Siphon. I use my right click to get charges back and instantly put it back onto the Ruckus. They wanted to kill the Ruckus really bad, so I'm abusing that by putting my Siphon over him and getting charges for free, which is going to give me more Siphon and keep us alive a little bit longer. Shields do give you Siphon reset if you hit your right clicks, so keep that in mind. Ruckus wants to go in, right? So I want to just walk up a little bit with him. Drop my Siphon so I can gain a little bit of speed and get back on him. Okay. So right there, in most cases, people would say that Ruckus' positioning was really bad. But in all reality, he was playing around me. And I was just making sure that whatever angle he wanted, he could get it for free because I gave him a Siphon. And that is how you enable your teams with term Siphon. Enabling / peeling for them. So in the beginning, we were peeling for him, making sure he didn't die. And then after that, we were enabling him, letting him do things for free because they couldn't damage through the Siphon. So like I said, we're going to speed up here because I don't want to, make y'all watch this little section here. But as you can see, I did rush to the Nimble 3. Just to show you how important it is, I stopped buying my other items because just the Nimble is just way too good on the Terminus to not have.
Get back to dancing. 5,
So on this mid here, this is where objective is gonna come into play, right? My Shah suggested that we play right side because they did get a free flank for free. They did get a flank for free. So I wanted to see if I can contest them, right? And I'm actually gonna get off of my character to kind of explain this, right? To like, because game sense is a huge part here. So we are gonna come to the corner, and I'm gonna peek. I definitely see the Koa, right? So my thought process is I really don't want to push out here because they have 4 people, and in our reality, all Koa has to do is sit here. If he hooks me off, I'm forced to use my jump. While I'm jumping, I'm taking damage for free, and then as I land, I'm also going to be vulnerable to damage, and then I have to get all the way back to my team, right? And also, while that's being done, they can honestly just run into my team as well, right? So playing here didn't really feel like the best idea for me, and I'll go from this angle so you can see. I see the Koa, and I already see that he's playing there, and like I said, he's going to look to jump up here to try to get a pick with his hook. And as he, when it comes to playing into Makoa, obviously he can hook me for free at any time. You kind of just gotta respect that he has the hook, right? And you gotta play around it, right? Okay, they kind of win. They get this side for free, right? They have the resources to defend it. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna, after a little bit, I notice he's not gonna go anywhere. He's gonna sit in that corner. So I'm gonna rotate away, right? And what sucks here is Anar gets 24% cap for free, and I have to make this long rotation to point. But at the end of the day, I did make the smart decision in not pushing towards him. So right here, I honestly probably should have just jumped straight over. I was a little worried about wasting my jump CD because I really didn't know where everybody was at because there's no communication. But I should probably use my jump CD to get over. I'm still giving her a lot of free cap. Koa is in that backline. We do get a pick on the Xin. So right here, I'm really struggling because I'm super low. Anara should honestly finish me off in a second. So right there, I probably should have held up my Siphon a little bit longer, but I did want to get on the point. So it was a little rough here. They have 3, and we also have 3 if I res. So I should probably res here instead of holding it in all reality. If I res here, not only do we have an even fight, but I will be able to peel for my Ruckus. Ruckus ends up not dying here, I believe, but we don't know. Zin's going to chase really hard, and Ruckus dies. So we do get a trade for it, though, so we're okay without having to use our ults. Buck should probably back out here. I'm on my way to the point. And now all my DPS got to do is they gotta kind of rotate off here as I get on. So now I don't want to leave point because I know they're close, right? I just want to maintain control of the objective. What's really cool here as well is that my Ruckus is comfortable knowing, since he knows that I would try to save my Siphon for him and enable him. So Buck does a really good job of creating a lot of space here, and even if he dies, he forces a lot of resources out, right? So now instead of flanking, what my Ruckus is gonna do here, since he knows that they have to look for a touch, he's just gonna stay on point because he has no fear. If they dive point, he's gonna pop his ult, and I'm gonna Siphon him. So with me knowing that that's his thought process, I just chill around him, make sure that I keep him in front of me, but I at a moment's notice I can put Siphon on top of him. The enemy team know better than to push in while being down, as well as they know that they'll die for it. So it just looked to get an early defense here. Right here, I give an example of before you get stunned, if you jump, it'll reset your jump CD. So it won't take it, as you can see. I'll still have it, right? The reason I did that is I knew I was gonna get stunned, so I jump up in the air and I basically make it so while I'm stunned for like a second or two, I'll be in the air or a second. And then it'll be a little harder to hit me since my hitbox is moving. The only time you really don't want to do that is if you need to eat a stun and also body block for somebody. But I really didn't feel like I had to body block for anybody, so I jumped in the air. So right here, we're just resetting here. They just popped an ult. Want to make sure nobody dies. Making sure my player gets out. Not going to start walking back in, you know. And as you can see right there, I get hit with 1 stun and half my HP goes away. So at this moment, I realize that I really got to look to start building resilience, because they do have 3 forms of CC, and it's going to get really rough for me the later the game goes if I don't have resilience. So, jumping away because the Inara has the advantage in that scenario. I want to make sure that he doesn't push my Shah there. Shah gets the pick. I'm just finishing the Inara pick here. I'm just body blocking her with my body so that she can't get the kill on my DPS here. We get a nice little stagger on the healer, and we start pushing again. So now it is 2-1, and we're pushing here. It should be pretty easy because the thing with the Koa is he has to kind of look at me a lot of the times, because if not, I'm going to be getting a lot of value since he won't be interrupting my siphon. But if he is, my Ruckus is going to get a lot of value. So right here on the push, we actually have a pretty good advantage in that sense. So right here, I'm kind of waiting for them to push up, and then the second they push up, if Ko looks for a hook on anybody else, I kind of want to just walk at them. So right now, I'm just chilling, waiting for the cart to get to walk up, to move forward a bit, as well as I kind of want to bait the Koa to walk in. I want him to think that he can walk in. Koa does look for a hook here, and I start walking at him. Ruckus ults. I cover him with my siphon so he can't take any damage. And now I start worrying about myself. I use my right click to regain my siphon. They go for a dive because everybody's looking at Koa. I do look for a pick on the Andy. So at this point here, I honestly should probably... We're down our support. We are even, but they're going to win the fight because we have no way of healing. So I get on the point here ready to die. I could also jump off the map just to reset here. But most of my team's still alive, so if anything, I could wait a bit and then reset at the same time as them, so we're all up at the same time. But I do elect to just sit on the point and keep it moving, just because it'll get us past this initial choke here, and I felt like it was value. Andrew does notice, so he peels back, and Mako's on respawn, and now he's behind me. So right here, I'm kind of just trying to live as long as I can, but he's Pluck, so Pluck do a lot of damage. If it wasn't for the fact that he was Pluck, I probably would have lasted a little bit longer, but yeah. So now I'm in a position to where I have my ult, I'm in their backline, right, and I can look for an ult so we can kind of gain space here. So there's going to be a few conditions for my ult here. I'm obviously, when I look to ult, I want my team to be near me, because if they do commit a lot of resources to kill me again, I want them to take advantage of that. As you can see, my team is really far back compared to me being all the way over here. So it's really not in my highest interest to ult. So I'm probably gonna hold on to this unless they can close the gap. I was spamming attack on my VGS to see if I can get them to close the gap, which they couldn't in time before I died, so I wasn't able to ult. Another thing too is I would ult if I see myself getting a pick, which I didn't, because I'm pretty sure that most of them had their movement abilities up, so there was really no way of me getting a free pick there. So I do elect not to ult. We have 30 seconds. I was kind of confident that we can get another touch here, so I was just banking on the fact that we could get another touch. So all my team has to do is not die here while I come back. My goal here is I want to get as close to the point as possible. I want to avoid Makoa. I don't want to lose a lot of health. I want to just see if I can get onto the objective so that we can get the overtime, right? So I'm going to start walking forward here. The team's walking in with me. We have 16 seconds. I don't want to rush anything. Letting them waste their ammo. I'm going to start walking in here. Koa should look for a hook on me, which he does to get me low. I am low. So right here, I should be in the mindset of I'm probably going to die here, right? I don't want to die before the overtime goes off, because I do want to make sure I proc it. And right now, I need to quickly look up to my teammates and see our ults, right? We are really close to getting our ults. So if I use my ult here, even if we don't win, it should give us it will enable us to build our ults, so that even if I don't have ults, we'll be down 1, but we'll have 4, right? So in my opinion, obviously I'm using the power of hindsight. I do end up dying here, but I do die out of range. Right, so my Ruckus is forced to get touch here. My Ruckus gets touched. I should be popping my ult right now, right? I should be confident that my Ruckus is going to touch for me, right? And then I can siphon him right out, as well as my explosion will basically do the job of kind of zoning for him so they can't hard commit on him. And then with that being said, I'll pop my ult. Yes, we'll lose mine, but we'll gain enough time to build up Buck's ult, Ceres' ult, as well as the Ruckus. So right here, Ruckus gets the touch and gets off, but obviously I don't pop my ult. And if I did pop my ult, you see we do get a trade here, so we would have been up 1, and it would have been almost impossible to lose that. I would have started rebuilding my ult. We would have had 4 more ults, and it would have put us in a really good position, economy-wise, as well as it would have been 3-1 instead of 2-2. We're going to speed through this because I don't get another touch. So right there is an example of when I should be ulting, as well as why I should be ulting, right? Because what does it give my team, right? And that also goes along with enabling, right? I'm enabling my team to build their ults and set them up for success. So as you can see, my next buy, and I just full stacked Rejuve here, Resil, because I don't want to be stunned for long times, because as you can see, I got stunned by a Damba and half my health disappeared, right? So I don't want to go through that anymore. They all do go left, right? So I could look to dive into their back line, right? But my team, I look back at my team, and my team isn't engaged, right? As you can see, they're playing pretty reserved over here. And I am going to switch the color because it's kind of hard to see. Okay, that's not yellow. So as you can see, they're playing pretty reserved. So if I jump in here, if anything, I'll probably get blown up. And I do have my ult, which could kind of be good. So by me diving in here, I could probably pull their attention and allow my team to get value on them as they turn for me. So that could be a play. But I do elect a standpoint here because I kind of want to force them to make a decision. Are they going to push, right? Or are they going to push me? I was fairly confident that my team would play back and just chill for a bit and then wait till they turn on me to then go in. So right here, I'm just looking around, making sure nobody's on the other directions. They start looking towards me, and my team's just chilling right now. Not really worried if I get hooked because I do have my ult. They mess up Dombafir, and then they ult the back line. Right there, Koa dives something. The second as Koa spins by me, I should kind of realize that looking for a play like that. I want to try to make sure that I'm staying on the point here, enabling my Ruckus to get more value before he dies. Do die here, and I don't think I res. I do. Okay, so I do res because my Ruckus ults here. So we pop out 2 ults. We do end up killing the Inara, as well as the Zen misses his ult on me, luckily. And we do regain control here. So now it's going to come down and just making sure we finish this Koa kill. Which we should. And making sure that everybody's watching the appropriate lanes, right? So I got 2 watching mid, so I know that I don't have to watch that. I try to call out for one of them to watch this side angle, but they are hit scan, so it's probably better that they are in the mid. So then I just kind of hover here so I can get my the corner of my eye on the right side. I see the Inara, and I start boxing her. So this is going to be a thing where you kind of realize your matchup, right? So I know Inara's abilities, right? I know when she's strongest, when she's not, and I also know that she has a way to trap me, whether it's, you know, from getting in or from getting out, right? So I know in the back of my head that if I walk in here, I'm going to get walled, right? And if I get walled, I'm going to be looked at. Obviously, I don't know where they're at this point because I can't see through walls. And I don't know if there's somebody here, kind of just waiting to see if I walk in and things like that. So I am going to be playing safe here. In a second, I do realize that when she does have her DR, she kind of out-trades me while I'm swinging. So I'm going to put my Siphon up, wait till the DR drops and start swinging on her. The second that I realize that there's no way she's winning the matchup and I can kill her, I don't care if she walls me anymore because I'll finish the kill. So we're here. Realize she's out trading me at the moment. So I'm gonna put my Siphon up and just relax. She looks away from me. Right, I get 2 good swings in. I see that she's at half health. I have full charges, which is a lot of damage, which will probably take another quarter of her health away, as well as it'll give me some of my health back. So we're gonna walk at her because we don't care if she walls us off. And bam, we do get the trade there with a pick. Now we are up 2. And I should probably be getting space, right? Looking to enable my team, but I am just chilling back. So I do go to walk over to see if I can get an assist credit on the Koa. I end up not needing to be there. I can hear enemies on the right, so I panic and run back to the right because I do need to peel for my teammates. Making sure my Ruckus. All right, right here. I was trying to make my Ruckus not waste his dashes, but he used them anyways. And our Buck ends up getting traded out. I look for the pick here, but it gets away. And that's a big reason why, especially when you have full charges, you shouldn't always look for damage. Because right now I do have Siphon charge, but let's say I needed some, or let's say if I run out here, I won't have a way to reset it if they don't shoot me, right? So when you have full charges, you want to be a little more stingy with how you use them, right? Because now I don't have Siphon, and if they were to rush me here, I would have no way to get it back. So now I gotta kind of play passive, throw out some right clicks, try to gain it back. So right here, I just want to make sure that I'm peeling from my back line. We're all kind of resetting here. Not worrying about doing damage, getting kills, making sure everybody gets out safe and sound. So I'm going to start walking back in now because I see that they've used a lot of resources. And if they don't get back, well, we can just walk in and kill them. So right here, I'm not really worried. I know that I got to build my Siphon back. So I'm kind of just chilling. My team does an ult in, so I start walking in. So right here, we want to try to make sure we finish the kill here. Make sure my Ruckus doesn't die here. And throw all the charges into the Andro. I want to keep enabling my Ruckus. He does end up getting fear, but he's not taking damage, so we're good. Goes back. We kill the Koa. Bam, get 2 kills here. So now, this is going to be a very critical moment, right? At the end of the day, it's 3-2. We can win this game. All we have to do is push the objective in. So I have options, right? I can push their spawn. I can hold the cart and let my team take cheeky angles, like the Ruckus can sit underneath, things like that. Yeah, so these are like my two options, right? Sit on point or push the high ground. They're both very viable options, but I feel like you kind of want to sit back as the main tank here, especially since I don't have my ult. I should be looking to kind of just build my ult off of the Inara, right? As you can see, I'm getting a lot of ult charge and swing on her, but I elect to jump on the Damba here, which in my opinion is a mistake, because not only do I jump, I create an opportunity, like a chance of vulnerability for me. I get stunned, so not only was I vulnerable while I jumped, while I was jumping as I land, but then I get stunned, and I'm also for like another second or a half a second vulnerable again, and this results in my death. And I don't have my ult, right? They are down 2, and now it is, well, they are down 1, right? Now it's a 4v3, and now the game has become very winnable for them. Our win condition here is to kill the Inara, but see how easy it would have been if I just didn't die, right? And I think I also made that jump in decision off of the fact that I thought I had my healer, which I didn't. So that's another mistake on my part as well. So instead of burning the Inara, we do look at the Andro. So Inara is also buying a lot of time for them, which allows the Koa to get back. Zin gets a pick there with his ult. And now we are in a scenario where our DPS need to back out here because there's no way they're winning this on their own. But they're not. Shaolin gets a trade if they don't have a support here. And now we get forced out. So they don't have a healer, and we do. So right here, I just kind of want to keep the pressure on them, especially since I have to get a touch again. I'm going to make sure that my buff doesn't die here by walking on top of him. And I want to force out my Koa. This jump here actually gets me killed, right? So me being greedy and wanting to look for a kill here, I actually get myself killed. I could have just walked here and played over here. I jump in. Now Koa has a hook on me. If he hits me, I don't have a way to jump back up. So instead of doing that, I should be playing the far right side here. They don't have Zen ult. If I do die, I do have my ult, right? And things like that. So I do make the mistake here of jumping. The wall pops me up. So even though I jump there, I try to use this wall as a way to kind of like make sure that the Koa can't hook me. But the Inara does boot me forward with her wall. And it creates an opportunity for the Koa to hook me. And yes. So I am going to die here. I do get a trade. But now we don't have a main tank. And they do. And basically... And they should have respawns, right? In the sense of they'll get Andro back, so yeah. So I'm back now, but we lose one. So now we're gonna come down and make sure I keep my teammates alive. And make sure that I'm getting my siphon back up. I was taking a little too long in the sense that I was not siphoning him anymore. We die here. So now we just save. We force them to use Inara, force them to use Koa. So we are up in the ultimate department. But that was an opportunity where I could have ended the game and I made a mistake there. I wasted my jump CD, so I wasn't able to save myself, right? Because let's say I do have jump there, Koa hooks me, I hit the swing on the Koa, and then I jump back up. So not only do I get the kill, but I bring myself back in the fight. And if I do end up dying there, I'll be able to res. As well as there was no reason for me to jump on their backline. I should have played for my ult, and yeah.
Capture point spawning in 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get back to dancing.
So, I go back to the point here. I see the Makoa's playing mid, so I don't really want to rush in because I had a feeling that they were going to be playing to look for a pick on me. They end up giving me a little crack to contest off of, so I'm going to contest here. Goes in the back. I'm not worried about him though, because he won't kill me on his own, and if he does, I do have res. Right here, I'm just focusing on staying alive. I do use VGS to ask my Ceres for help, so I don't die here. Make sure we finish the kills here. So now all we got to do is zone. So right here, I wait a little bit to make sure nobody's behind and stuff like that. Then I start to walk forward here as I start feeling safe. We got a buck on right, Ruckus in mid. So right here, it's gonna come down to game sense. I should know that the Zen has their ultimate, and so I should be looking to body block for that ult, right? Because Ruckus could have died there, right? I need to eat that ult. That's my job, and I need to res the second I eat that ult. That could have went really badly for us if we lost our Ruckus there. The Ruckus ends up living, and I do have my ult. I wanted to play that doorway, but I did realize that Koa has, hook. So I didn't want to, or he could have hook, so I didn't want to get pulled in and then not be able to res. So if I start backing up, I want to play for my res. Want to make sure that my Shaolin's able to get out. He gets out. Everybody's good. We look for the trade on the Xin. Xin has to waste his CDs here. But now I know that I have my ult. Xin doesn't have ult. We look for the most important pick there on the support. We get 2 picks, and now I can just swing wildly because I know there's no way they're going to win this because I still have my ult here. Giving a Siphon to the floor from my Ruckus as long as he needs it. So swinging away on Leonardo, the Punisher. For being alone. And yeah. And there we go. So that is like a little review of my own gameplay to kind of show you what a great term does in a game, what I look for, as well as how I kind of manage my resources and things like that. Talk about how I should be ulting the mistakes that I make, the mistakes that I make, so you guys can make them less, and things of that nature. So before we go, we're actually going to look back at the checklist, and we're going to try to see if we can talk about what I did, if I did those things, and if I did them correctly, and stuff like that. So we look at resource management. I feel like I was doing that pretty well. I don't think that I was allowing myself to get burned too quickly. But there were a lot of times where I did make questionable decisions on that, right? So we're going to give ourselves a yellow check. I hope y'all can see that. It's kind of light. Or you know, we'll just do red and green, right? So, or we could do orange. So orange will be like okay, right? So bam. So there, like I did good. But there were a lot of times where I made questionable choices. Ults. I'm gonna give that another one of these. I feel like my ults, the ults that I did use were good, but there were opportunities to get huge value ults, and I didn't take those. Rotations, I definitely could have rotated more. There were opportunities where I could go in and use my ult to create space for my team. To peel and enable, I feel like I did that like really well that game. I feel like that was probably one of my better games when it came to just being around my Ruckus a lot and making sure that he was able to get a lot of opportunities. And then the objective, I think, except for one mid, I played around it pretty well and things like that, right? So I would say I'll give myself like a 60 for that game, maybe a 70%. I could have played a lot better. I could have made better decisions. But yeah, so I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm being honest with myself on how I played. Just to go over it again, the reason I didn't give myself green is because I did do it really well, but there were times where I made bad decisions, which everybody does, but you could have a game where you don't make those decisions, right? So I didn't do it poorly, but those decisions bring it down. My ults, there was 2 ults that I could have popped that would have got us a lot of value, as well as just made it so that there was no way we would lose the fight, right? It would change it from a 50-50 to like a 70-30 or even a 60-40 rotations. There were times that I could have played aggressive because I had ult. I could have forced out a lot of utility on me, and then it would have made the fight a lot easier for my team. The peel and enable, I think I did an amazing job. Not only did I peel for my teammates almost all the time, but I was able to enable my Ruckus to get a lot of value. And then the objective, I did good. I really didn't lose it based off of my behalf. I think it came down to a team effort, right? With that out of the way, I really don't have to talk about this too much. The only thing, I guess I could. Map, I think I did pretty well for the map not being the best for term. I played really well into my matchup. I'm going to give myself a green check because I played term like term. I contested the point well as I enabled my teammates. But talking about buys here, I think I had a really bad buy start. I'm not going to lie. I definitely should have went like, if I wanted to caught that bad, I could have probably went caught Nimble or Bulldozer Nimble if I wanted the Bulldozer. But there's no reason to really not buy Nimble. Nimble is just such a great card. And if it's not a match like Ice Mines, which in the case if you are buying something else, you would probably buy a Master Riding Nimble. But Nimble's just so good on term that there's no real reason not to buy it right away. And as you realize, I stopped buying my other items and I full rushed Nimble the second I could. And yeah, so that's going to be the advanced term guide. It was more so of kind of just giving you an example, right, and going into depth about things, why I'm doing them, and breaking it down and things like that. But yeah, so with that being said, if you like the content, man, definitely leave a like, comment down below what champion you would like to see me give a little guide for, as well as if you are looking for some coaching, I do it for free. All you got to do is leave a like, comment down your IGN and your match ID, and yeah, I'll give it a shot. Make sure that if you are doing things like that, like the match ID thing, to make sure it is either a ranked or a scrim gameplay. If it's like a lower elo, you might have to have somebody spectate you, because sometimes they don't save the lower elos. But definitely, if it's a casual game, 100% it has to be spectated. But yeah, so thank you guys once again for stopping by. I appreciate the amount of support you guys give me, especially recently. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.